Welcome everyone to Coaching in Session. My name is Michael Rearden, and I'll be your mindset coach today. Today, we're going to be talking about the difference between a mindset of a leader and a mindset of a follower. If you're new to the channel, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and to share this video to help build a community of like-minded individuals. Now, mindset is one of those things that are going to be able to be molded into any form that we want. Similar to how water can take on the shape of any container it is in, so can our mindset. Our mind can evolve into whatever shape we want it to be. It could be powerful, it could be weak, it could be complacent. When many people come work with me and they wanted to get to a new type of mindset, a new way of thinking, typically the trend is that they're the problem. They say that I don't know why I'm not doing it, I know I can do it, and they question why can they do it? And the answer is simple. Our brain gets in the way. Our brain is going to be our greatest adversary in life. We have to be able to overcome that. And if we can overcome it, then we can start to implement change. And that change is going to be a good thing in our life. So let's take a look at that blog of mindset of leaders and followers, and then dive into that and then bring back the conversation. All right, everyone. If you're new to the channel, of course, head over to revenconcepts.com, go over to the resource tab, and then click on blog, and you'll see the most recent blog will be right on top. Same thing for mobile, the mindset of leaders and followers. We have to understand that if you're a follower, it doesn't mean you're doing bad in your life. If you're a leader, it doesn't mean you're better than anyone in life. You decide what you want to be. Some people prefer to be followers. Some people prefer to be leaders. Sometimes when you're in a job that is a leadership role, you might like it, you might hate it, and vice versa. And if you're a follower, you might not like the job that you're in because you have bad management. Now, I will say it is more difficult to be a leader than a follower. And that's why many people choose to follow, because leading is quite a large amount of effort. One of the things that I will tell you is that a follower is going to more so depend on their environment rather than a leader looking at their future. That might be a difficult concept for many people to understand. If they're a leader and they're in the moment, in their present, you're still looking at the future. You have goals, ambitions, versus a follower might just show up Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and as long as they get their check every week, they're hunky-dory. They get to 2 days off a week, 65 they get to retire. They don't have any complaints. Now, they might want more, but do they act for it? Maybe, right? Depending on the person. And then we get leaders, and those type of leaders are going to be in a more driven type of mindset where they can apply goals, apply massive action, and then get the job done. In this blog, I do go into extreme detail and give a variety of differences, pros and cons, things like that, on the difference between followers and leaders. But today, I want to bring it to a different type of light. The mindset of leader and followers might not be what we think. In our world, we have so much negativity. Negativity drives sales. Negativity drives views, watches. If I label this video something negative, if I label it something that's going to get clicks, it will. But my channel, this podcast, is not to drive negativity, because we have a problem in our world. And the problem is many people enjoy that negative. And you might be asking, well, why do people enjoy that negative so much? Simple. The brain is naturally negative. When we were millions of years ago fighting for our lives, trying to build fires, living in caves, cavemen, we had to have that sense of security, that fight or flight type of mentality. If the bush started rattling, I'm not going to say it's a friend. I'm not going to say, oh yeah, it's probably, some birds and they're going to bring me some eggs. No, I'm going to automatically assume that it could be something that's going to hurt me or kill me. So now we have all of that evolution, all of those years of our brain thinking that way because it kept us alive. Today in our world, we don't need that. Yeah, maybe the bushes are shaking. We might be a little nervous. It might be a raccoon or a skunk and we don't want to get sprayed, but it's different. The mindset is different. Our mindset evolved differently. And now the mindset of followers is different than the mindset of leaders. Because you can have a bunch of leaders and they can swap out who's in leadership role, who follows. But now it's primarily who follows. Who am I going to lead? Who am I going to listen to? Who am I going to trust? Why do you think they call followers on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram? Why do you think they do that? Do you think it was by accident? Do you think they couldn't figure out a synonymous word? Togetherers, people who join together. No, followers. I follow this person. I agree with what this person says. And when someone doesn't agree with what you say, you unfollow them, right? So if I put out a tweet that you don't agree with, unfollow. I don't like where this guy's going. I don't want to put that in my brain. He stands for something I don't like. I'm going to unfollow him. Okay. We have learned to run from our problems and not deal with them. If someone has an opposing viewpoint, it doesn't mean that they're right and you're wrong, or you're right and they're wrong. It means that they have a different viewpoint. Now, if the viewpoint can be positive or has some type of light, then we have to start to think about our own emotions and our opinions. Followers tend to have extreme opinion about what they believe, their beliefs, right? And that is a safety mechanism for the brain. Because if you start to question what you do, the brain is going to spiral out of control. And if you think that's not the case, question what you do. So the people who are just followers and aimlessly follow people, and if someone says something, they're like, yeah, I agree with this person. Exactly right. A like mindset. And it's not so much about surrounding yourself with people who have like mindsets. It's about surrounding yourself with people who have growth mindsets. But yet, the whole system of social media is to help people with like mindsets follow and to be in a community of togetherness. So now you might have a community of negative people, or a community of people who have negative beliefs and ideals. That's not going to help you. We need to understand one clear thing. What type of mindset do we want in the end? At the end of the day, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it be, what type of mindset do you want? And the blog, I talk about what type of mindset that entails. You might say, Mike, I want to be extremely wealthy and I want to have this in my life and I want to build this and I want to do this and I want to do that. Okay. What type of mindset is that? Can you get there with a follower mindset? Can you get there with a leadership type of mindset? Maybe, right? Depending on what you want. But I will say there will be a time difference. You got to understand, followers get 2 weeks off every year for vacation. So you get 2 weeks off a year. So if you want to go to Greece and you want to go to Spain and you want to go to the Bahamas, I doubt you're going to do that in 2 weeks. And if you do, are you really enjoying yourself to the fullest when you go on those vacations? Because when I go on vacation, if I enjoy a place, I don't want to leave. So if I'm rushing on day 3 to get out of a place, I don't know what I'm necessarily doing. My mind is saying, well, I don't want to leave this place. Why am I going to another place and I'm enjoying this place so much? We have to understand that there is something in the mind we have to learn. Don't leave something you enjoy. Don't stop doing something you enjoy. Yeah, you might enjoy the next thing more, but that's a probability, but that's going to be something you have to gamble on. Yeah, you might like Bahamas more than Spain. You might have a good time there. You might just want experiences. That's fine. But we have to understand something. And that is a concept I learned in college, actually. And it was from like a hip hop song or something. That was out of context with today. It's don't leave a party until all the alcohol is gone. Okay, well, with all the alcohol is gone, then I guess I have to leave because there's no more fun, right? So just that idea, just put that in your mind. What they did in the olden days was they gave everyone good wine initially, because good wine was going to be more expensive, more limited. So they would give them the good wine. And then once everyone was drunk, they would give them the cheap, poor wine. We have to understand the reason why that happens. So we enjoy it, and when we get inebriated enough where we don't really understand the difference between what's good and bad, we can still enjoy ourselves. But to separate ourselves from something good to something maybe worse or something better, it gets into a total mindset right there. Because yes, it can be better. Yes, it can be worse. So depending on where you are, you have to go down that road. So we're going to go down those roads right now. If you are thinking, I'm enjoying myself right now and things can't get better, you can either A, continue to enjoy yourself on this vacation that you're on and not worry about the other locations. Or you can say, I want to dare myself to go to this next location because this location might be more enjoyable. And if it's more enjoyable, that's a good thing for me. So I'm going to go to the next place and I might have a good time. I might not have a good time. It's fine. I'm still experiencing things. I'm trying new things. I'm leaving my comfort zone. It's funny how we were able to get comfort zone from staying somewhere where we liked. Yes, there's going to be many places that you like to live, that you want to be, that you want to go on vacation on. But the problem with home is not a location. Home is not a place where you put all your belongings. Home can be wherever you want it to be. So when you find a vacation spot, a home, whatever, you're not looking so much on what that place can give you, is what you feel to that place. Does this place feel like home? And you might live in a place with mom and dad, and then you move, and then you create a new home in a new environment, and then you create a new type of boundary. We're saying this is going to be my limit. All right, I'm not going to go down to this. This is what I expect. So we have new expectations, basically. And when we do that, we might go back to mom and dad's house and we might not even want to be there. Even though mom and dad's place was once home, it might just now be mom and dad's place. Because we create comfort where we decide. What happens if you created comfort anywhere you went? Then that's where we get into the mindset of what makes a leader and what makes a follower. A follower is going to look for a comfortable place. That's why people can sometimes be in company 15, 16, 20 years in a job that doesn't fulfill them. So they're giving a company all of their years and they might be treated well, but they don't find passion in the work they do. Is meaningless. So after everything is done, they get their retirement party, and they're left to their own devices. Did they waste their life? Right? That's up to their own interpretation. I'm sure they can find meaning in what they did. And just because they retire doesn't mean that they can't continue to find meaning or finally find meaning. So it just depends, because the leader is going to be thinking more so of, what am I doing that's meaningful today? Because we want to make a profit. We want to lead people to better. We want good to happen around us in our life. So we can have people that we lead, people that are going to be part of the community or our team that help build what we're trying to build. And that idea of having people along for the ride, help with a goal, common goal that you have, they have a sense of, I help build this, number one. And number two, as a leader, if you have a team helping you build something, you can do so quicker than if you did it by yourself. Because I'm not saying that you can't do things by yourself, it just takes a lot longer. Similar to how if you are maybe under a follower's mindset right now, you want to become a leader type of mindset. Can you do it without a mindset coach? 100% yes. You don't necessarily need a mindset coach. It's just a lot quicker. How long is it going to take you to go from a follower to a leader by yourself? Give yourself a date. Give yourself a time. Maybe say 3 months, 6 months, and see if you get there. And then if you don't get there, figure out how far you went. And if you got there, great. Now you know what it takes for you to change your mindset. But oftentimes people start something and they don't finish, because it's easier to follow someone. It's easier to have everything already preset, pre-made. And if there's already structure, why do I have to spend time on the foundation? And the foundation might be one of the most tedious jobs or works that you have to do in order to start building. People want instant gratification, quick. The learning process of them being open to learning and trying to figure out everything, that is gone. They get the answers instantly nowadays. And sometimes the answers can't be answered as quickly as we would like. Because when we try to find who we are, many questions have to be asked. And then we have to also ask ourselves, when we're a leader, why are we a leader? What makes a good leader? How can I be a better leader? If you're a follower, why am I a follower? Do I enjoy being a follower? If I was a follower for the rest of my life, will I be satisfied? Will I be filled with regret? Maybe, right? It just depends on who you are. But what I can say is that many people jump on the bandwagon and they just follow someone, whether it be a political figure or an affluent person, celebrity. There's so many things that may happen if we just follow one type or a group of people. We don't become open anymore. We don't learn how to deal with other people's emotions and feelings, and we don't learn how to deal with adversity. Because if I have a different opinion than you and you never dealt with someone who had a different opinion, you don't know how to deal with me. And that's a lost art almost. Critical thinking is out the window. So people decide to be followers rather than be leaders, because a leader does have to critically think on a consistent basis. Not saying that followers don't critically think. It's just easier to follow someone, to listen to someone and say, well, that's what they said. This is what I have to believe. And I challenge everyone, even my clients, to challenge what I say. And I explain it. I'll break it down into the smallest bites so they can see all the pieces of the puzzle. Because it's not so much about the big picture, it's about what makes up the big picture. Because you can have a house, but if your house is built with straw, is it really a home that's going to stand this test of time? Same thing with sticks, same thing with bricks. One resource is going to be easy to attain and one is going to be more difficult. And many people get into that mindset or that realm of choosing easy now, hard later. So they can build a stick home because it might take them a couple hours, but a brick home takes so much longer. You have to get the cement. You have to mix the cement. You have to lay the bricks. You just can't put everything up and then tie it together. There is a huge time difference between building a home that's going to stand for quite some time and a home that is not. And the same thing is true with our mind. If we build a mind that can stand the test of time and evolve and be able to be malleable to the point where it's not so much stuck in a certain way of thinking. You might have a totally different opinion than myself, and I'm able to think, all right, I see what you're talking about. And in this blog, The Mindset of Leaders and Followers, we get a good understanding of the different types of mindset and what type of community you're putting yourself in. Because if you find that the type of mindset you have is not congruent with your goals, then it might be time to switch. It might be time to adjust, because we all have long-term plans. And many of the ideas that we have or the dreams that we hold might not occur in our lifetime, because we're putting ourselves on a path that is going to be a slow type of progress. Yes, we are making progress, but we have to understand there's going to be pros and cons to being a leader, and there's going to be a pros and cons to being a follower. A leader's going to have to show up a lot more. It's going to be a lot more energy driven, motivated. And not many people are going to want to push, give that energy. So we have to either A, decide to wake up, give 100%, or B, sit down and just stand up when we have to do something, and then again, sit down when it's time to rest. There's so many different paths that we can go down when it comes to the mindset of leaders and followers. But the common thread is what works for you, right? And you might come to the conclusion that you're a follower. It is perfectly fine. Like I said early on, perfectly fine to be a follower. You can still have a meaningful life. You still can find success, but you just have to ask yourself, are you fulfilled too? That's kind of the missing piece where many people skip. They look for success because that's what the American dream is. Yeah, you can be successful if you work hard and be nice. Happiness wasn't part of that plan. Happiness was kind of one of those things that weren't talked about, because they said if you have a nice house, if you have a family, you should be happy. You don't have to love your job. You just have to have a job. And you should be appreciative that you do have a job, and not saying that we're not grateful for the work that we have. But we do have to understand the American dream is called the American dream because you have to be sleeping to have it. Many people just walk through life not awake. Many people don't even steer themselves in a proper direction. That's why they're followers. A sheep is the sheep because the sheep follows. And then if you look at a leader, there's a pack. We are going to follow this person because they're the leader. So at some point, you just have to realize, are you going to be the pack leader? Have that leader type of mindset leading people to something that you want to work toward? Or are you going to be part of someone else's ideals and dreams? And then you have to ask yourself, which is going to bring you more happiness, more abundance? And just because it's going to bring you more abundance, more happiness, doesn't mean that it has to be your life. Doesn't mean that's the path you have to go down. You decide. If you want more in your life, you can have it. If you don't want more in your life, you don't have to have it. You decide what type of lifestyle you want to live. But understanding if you have the mindset of a follower or leader is going to help you get into that type of thinking. What should I do today? And if you can say, well, I want to focus on this today, focus on that today. Or tomorrow, or change whatever perspective you want to. But understand one thing. You decide what type of mindset you have. And if you don't like the mindset you have, begin to change it. My name is Michael Rearden. I'm a mindset coach here in Austin, Texas. If you have any questions, you can email me coachinginsession@gmail.com. And I will see everyone on the next episode of Coaching in Session. Until then, everyone, take care.